Hi, I am Anita Algiene, and I'm going to show you today how to best store your buttercream. So buttercream is the best when it is fresh, straight off the mixer, it ices beautifully, and it acts the way you want it to. But what happens if you have leftovers, or maybe you have some time constraints and you want to get ahead? You can definitely store your buttercream in a few different ways. So right out of the mixer, if you know you're going to have excess, you can just simply, I always use a glass Pyrex bowl. It just, I think using plastic will, the possibility of the taste and the smell of plastic to infect your buttercream. So I think it's best to use a glass bowl with a tight fitting lid. Sometimes the lid is stretching out a little bit and then they don't fit tightly. If that happens, you can put a saran wrap layer over it and then the lid just to get it as tight as possible. Because American buttercream has a tendency to dry out and to crust, you want to keep the lid as tight as possible so your buttercream can stay lump free. That is one way. So if you're having excess, you can just do that. If you have colored any buttercream and you've put it in your disposable bags, you can just pop these right in the freezer. You can just squish the any buttercream that have gotten to the tip kind of back in there a little bit. This can either be stored in the refrigerator for 2 weeks or in a freezer for 2 months. You just need to defrost it slowly. If you are working away and you have excess buttercream, like I said before, it does crust very quickly. So all these edges that are left on the side will start to crust and make just like rock hard diamonds. So the best thing to do is just to get a wet towel while you're working. You could just either cover up the bowls to keep it nice and moist. You can either use saran wrap, but a nice washcloth that's just damp without any color or smells, something fresh and clean, just to keep your buttercream stored while you're working. Buttercream, like I said, can be stored with a tight-fitting lid on the counter for 2 days. I would be wary if you did use a milk product. I wouldn't say that would be true, but this buttercream is made with water, so it doesn't have ingredients that will spoil easily. It can be left in the counter for 2 days, the fridge for 2 weeks, or the freezer for 2 months. It's just bringing up to temperature. Once you're ready to use it again, just put it on the counter. You might want to go ahead and open up the lid, just especially if it's in the freezer, so any condensation can be released and not introduced back into the buttercream. So there you have it. That's the best way to store your buttercream so you can use it ahead of time. When you're ready to use it, it's best to kind of re-whip it, stir it back up. You could actually add it to a fresh batch. That's probably the best thing, and it'll just whip right back up to a perfect consistency. So that's how you store your buttercream.